Hello and welcome back to Take This TV, the television book club podcast where each week we watch an episode or two of our favorite shows and we talk about it with our friends in the fandom. That's you. Oh, dang, that's you. What's up? I'm Carmen and I'm joined by my dear friend, Kimberly Woods. Hello.
Hi, hot potatoes.
Hi, hot potatoes. This season, we're watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
Kimberly, what's this episode about?
Today, we're going to be talking about episode 3, which is called First Vacation. And here is the Amazon blurb for that. John and Jane take a vacation in the Italian Dolomites. Will new hobbies and friendships lead to romance?
Dum, dum, dum. Will there be romance or will there be tragedy? What did you think of this episode, Kimberly?
This was a very fun episode. I love that. To me, it seems like the show is setting up this thing of are John and Jane the only agents in the field? Or on these missions, or are there other agents in the field? Because, for example, we have that moment where they meet this older couple while they're on vacation who's been married for like 50 years. And they meet by the lady like dropping her handkerchief on the ground, and John like picks it up and it's like, oh, he dropped this. But it's like, oh, wait a second. Are they the only players in this field, or are sometimes other like spy couples also doing things? You know, like
that's really clever. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh man. That reminds me of, was it Black Mirror? I think there was some show that did something like that where it was like you get a text or a call or something from like a random number, and it just tells you like, go to this place, get in this car, drive it to this place, and then leave. And that's your part. And then like another person will show up with something else, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm wondering, because we don't know who HiHi is, right? So it's like...
Right. And HiHi has the sass at the start of this episode. So passive-aggressive.
Yeah. They get that champagne bottle that's like, don't fail again. That message.
Right. Telling them to get good. Do you think that they're like the couple that that would be a big twist.
No, right? But also, like, how is HiHi? Okay, so in this one, right, their instructions were that they're supposed to like observe and report on their neighbors. One of them is this billionaire, Gavalt Martin, and her husband. Bug their phones and record an important call at 5 p.m.
Yep.
And we find out later in the episode, right, that Gavalt gets kidnapped, and this important call is happening during this kidnapping. And it's like, okay, so HiHi, how did you know about the kidnapping?
It's a ransom.
You know, like, it doesn't, like, it would be weird if they're setting it up, but, like, did they come across this information on the dark web or, like, some other, like, how do they know about this? They want it for blackmail. Like, they want this phone call for blackmail, right? But how does HiHi know?
How do they know? What threw me is, like, the target is a billionaire. Because I was like, oh, well, you know, HiHi is probably, like, some organization that the rich and powerful can use to have assassinations or whatever done based on the cake fiasco. But I was like, well, I mean, I guess another billionaire could be like, oh man, I want to take over, hostile takeover of this person's assets or whatever. But yeah, I don't know who HiHi is. Who are they?
I don't know. And the last episode with the art auction, same thing, right? It was a billionaire when they wanted like blackmail. They wanted his secrets for some reason. And HiHi probably suspected that he was going to be the highest bidder.
What if HiHi is just like a regular person, like a normal person who's like got this network of assassins trying to like balance out the power structure of the world?
And they're just having fun watching them. Like, haha, we're going to observe these missions, and if they fail 3 times, we're going to get them
out.
Yeah.
Well, that actually, I'm really like interested in your theory because I think that's so interesting. Do you think that the John and Jane from the cold open, do you think that means that the people who assassinated them were also John and Jane couples? Oh,
I think so.
Dang.
I think it might have been. But I'm
Dang.
also scared about your like Black Mirror theory too. That like, what if HiHi is just some random AI who's like assigning it based on like, oh well, this billionaire, I don't know, finding out information about different people, or finding out people's dirty secrets and wanting more blackmail to like sell to other people.
Ooh, a power broker. Oh
Yeah.
man. So yeah,
No.
this episode has a lot of intrigue. I kind of like John and Jane are the worst spies because they get to their resort and they're just kind of kicking it in the hotel room. And John's like, "Why don't we go get a drink?" Like they're not doing anything important.
I know he's like, yeah, they're gonna go to sleep, so let's go to the bar. He's
Yeah.
not concerned. Like, I love how they failed a mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not that concerned
He
about
doesn't
it.
care.
Jane is much more like, we failed a mission. Like, we got to be on top of this.
Yeah, she got really anxious. I feel like it tells us a lot about their personalities too. Of like, he's really irresponsible, as we learn also at another point in the episode. But
Yeah.
Jane is more of a by the book person, which I kind of is like reverse of how I thought they were when we first met them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we also learned they haven't been sleeping together yet, even though like they hooked up last time at the end of last episode. But they still haven't slept in the same bed yet until this first vacation. Because they're like, okay, well, is it... John's like, are you... like, this is our first time together in the same bed, because I wanted to give you your space. Since you're like an only child, I figured you wanted your space, even though we've been hooking up every night, So it feels like time has passed. They've been like hooking up, but they still haven't slept together.
Yeah,
this is their
you
first,
meant like literally sleeping in the bed.
like
I thought you
literally,
meant
not
like
like
touching
hooking up,
butts.
like
Yeah.
no, like literally sleeping in the same bedroom. He's going back downstairs and she's been like upstairs still.
Just like it's a one night stand or something.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like called out a little bit as an only child because I was like, yo, I just want to like hog all the covers. But it's
Used to your space.
Right. I'm like, yo, these covers are for me. Get your own. What did you think about the relationship with I forget the billionaire's name, but her and her husband?
I just thought it was funny that John and Jane seemed to be identifying with different parts of them. Like Jane was identifying with Gavalt and John was like more sympathizing with the husband, which I found funny.
And like she's the one that's the billionaire, right? Because he was just a surfer. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely like he had like big sad boy energy. Yeah.
I thought, going back to your thing about like how they aren't good spies, I think it's I was dying when they're on the lift and John's like, is there another way down this hill besides skiing? Because cannot do that. And she's like, okay, but you bought all of the ski gear. And he's like, all about the fashion? And I'm like, why did you pick red?
I never lie about fashion.
He picks red.
They're supposed to be like incognito. He has this really loud like ski suit. Yeah. Have you ever been skiing before?
I have. A few times. And I've definitely had that thought before where it's like, oh, this will be fine. And then as you're going up and up and up, and then you get dropped off at the top, you're like, oh yeah, I guess I got to make it down that hill now, huh? It's only way down.
Does it just like drop you off when you get up there?
At the top, yep.
Oh.
And you're like, well, I got to get down this hill one way or another. It's kind of terrifying.
Oh, dang. I've never been skiing before. I would definitely be like John in this situation. I'm like, well, I'm about to die.
Yep.
So they're trailing the family down the hill. And we kind of see that John and Jane's relationship is really similar to the how the couple's relationship starts to dynamic. John and Jane's relationship starts to kind of sour also. And we sort of get to the breakfast parlor or the brunch area. Does that happen before or after they go down the slope when they go to brunch?
I think the brunch is before the slope because John gets up and has left and texts her like, I'm downstairs at breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's when we see his phone buzz.
And when she's like, who's that? Which
He's like, it's nothing. It's nothing.
I love the their relationship and how it develops is definitely it feels very genuine of like a new relationship where you get to the point and it's like, who are they texting, or like what's what are they up to and all that kind of stuff. Just feeling a little insecure and wanting it to be an exclusive thing. We also kind of learn that Jane is a little bit more antisocial, I guess, when it comes to like social interactions. Because John is making vacation friends and Jane hates vacation friends.
That is one of the funniest parts of this episode. After she tells him that, and they've met their, the older couple who's the vacation friends that John is like trying to get to know. They run into them again and they're like, you guys should come back to our place, or like we should go get tapas. And they're trying to like follow the other couple on their mission while this, the new vacation friends are trying to chat with them. And then Jane just like has enough. Like it is just like, shut up, shut the fuck up.
I have a gun, I'll shoot you. Shut up. I was like, oh my gosh, the most extreme way to end a conversation.
Yeah. She's just like, no, trying to beat around the bush, just direct.
So you think
I'm done with this.
Hard exit the conversation, end call for all.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting if the couple was our spies, though. It's like, ooh, what does that mean?
Yep, we don't know.
When they're on
what did we think about?
Oh no, you go for it.
What did you think about when we found out who John was talking to? Were you surprised, or did you know?
I was surprised. I figured that like one of their parents would come up at some point. And I think I was completely wrong in the first episode about their characters, because I thought Jane would be the one holding on to her past life, but John is the one who's holding on. And we learned that he probably, Jane infers, so we don't know for sure, but thinks that he got up early to go to the gym to call his mom. And in true mom fashion, she's like, what's the Wi-Fi password?
Yep. I love that. I was guessing it was her because I was remembering in the first episode when he was like, not even my mom or something. I think his answer to the question about like cutting ties. He was like, you mean not even my mom or something? And I was like, is that his mother? But then, as soon as it was the tech conversation too, I was like, yep. It's helping his mom. I love this so much. It's so relatable. Did you try this? Did you restart it? Did you try this password? Okay, I'll call them later. And he calls her like 3 times a day, we find out. So he's a real mama's boy.
They have a very close relationship. And Jane is not only upset because he's jeopardizing his relationship with his mom, but he's also jeopardizing both of them by breaking the rules very blatantly. And we see throughout this episode that John is very fast and loose with the rules of what they're supposed to do and not supposed to do. What did you think about them location sharing when they were first in the brunch place?
I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh, yep, that's a big step. Okay, yep, they're going for it. But they didn't even have that little discussion of like, are we just sharing for the day? Like, there's the in-between. They went for it at first anyway.
I thought that I was like, what? I've never done that before. So I was like, is that a thing that people do?
Yep, it's a thing. I've definitely done it with a couple. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Definitely with my husband and definitely with like a couple friends. But I have some friends that do the thing where they're like, I'll share it for like an hour. Like if we did. So it is very like particular. Like, oh, it's like a, it's a personal.
Hey, you learn something every day. Yeah. Well, so then that's a big step in their relationship. And in true John fashion, when they get into an argument, he turns off his location very pettily.
Yep. I was like, what are you doing?
Right when they split up and he goes off to follow the target to some unknown location where he's never been before.
Oh, you know what? Which is also why at first when he's tailing Gavalt and they're having that conversation at the co-ed spa and they're, after they've gotten out of the spa in which she had her phone and then they're sitting and she gets a drink brought to her. and then she stumbles afterwards, after that conversation. I was like, did she get roofied?
I didn't even
Immediately,
think about that.
that's what also was like, are there other spies working in this field? Because like we saw him dress up as a waiter last time, and now here we have a waiter who apparently actually did drug her before the kidnapping or something.
I didn't even think about it being the waiter because he did say it was on the house. I thought it was the kind of thing of like, oh, so and so bought you a drink, but he said it was on the house.
And then she like stumbles out, and I was like, after one drink, uh-oh.
I love how subtle the show is, that it doesn't like just explain over-explain everything.
Yeah.
John asked for a bowl of rice, and she was like, Gavalt's like, are you hungry? And I'm like, I know you're a billionaire, but you're not that out of touch that you've never heard of putting your phone in a bowl of rice. Like,
especially as much as you're on your phone.
Right.
Yeah.
You never got rained on? Okay.
I was actually impressed with both of them, like, getting the other person's phones, the people that they were tailing. Because at first I was like, okay, how are they going to do this? I wasn't sure if they could pull it off. But then they actually did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, they both were really smooth.
Yeah. Jane was pretty slick with like, hey, dude, let me help you learn how to connect with your kid. I'm going to install this app for you so you can play, the game.
Yeah, he did have big aging hippie energy of like, oh, you just, those video games, it's running your brain. But
I also thought it was funny how he was like talking about his kid while the kid was like right there. I know the kid had headphones on, but still, it's like, I don't know if it'll be okay.
Right. I definitely didn't think the kid could hear them. And then Jane calls the kid's name and the kid responds. And I was like, does the kid hear dad talking about you like that?
Yeah. It's messed up.
The disrespect.
What did you think about the fact that this dude, when he gets the ransom call about his wife, and they're like, okay, give over the shares or else. And he's just like, nope.
Cold-blooded, man. I mean, like, I wasn't surprised because I feel like they tried to set them up as like, they're just like us. And it reminded me of that photo shoot that Jeff Bezos did where he was like trying to be like a Jeep Wrangler and a cowboy hat and stuff. He's like, I'm just like everybody else. And then like some wild stuff that would only happen to people like them happens. And he's like, no, kill my wife. I'll never give up the money. It's like, okay. They're those kind of people.
It was cold. It was cold. It was really cold. I was like, dang, okay.
Pretty cold-blooded.
I mean, I knew they were having trouble, but
murder?
Yeah, but murder to get rid of her? Okay, all right. Oh.
And John gets he decides to be a hero, and he uses the recording of the call to figure out where Gavalt's being taken, and he sees that she's being held in some kind of snowmobile. And then Jane, oh, by the way, the whole time Jane has been blowing him up because he turned his location off.
Oh, this is been so ghosting funny. Her. She's like text bombing him.
She is.
She's like, you better be dead.
The text, you better be dead for not responding to me, was so funny. Like, I remember being like a kid who like sneaks out of the house and stuff, and like my parents be like, you better be dead if you're not calling me back. I was like, that's like the like, I love you, but I'm so mad at you right now text. So John goes, does his best Bond impression and tries to save Gavalt, gets into a shootout, and then calls Jane for help.
Turns back on his location services finally.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
He actually took down some people pretty impressively. I was like, okay, dang, oh, wow.
Like 5
pew,
people.
Pew.
Yeah. Pew, pew, yeah.
Yeah. He's got some skills, I guess. Because sometimes you're not sure. You're like, okay, they're pretty good. But then there, I was like, wow, okay. He took them out pretty effectively. Competent. Yeah.
So Jane gets there to find John injured, but okay. And she gets him back to the hotel. And while she's nursing him back to health in a hot bath, we see on the monitor that Gavalt reunites with her husband. And they have this really weird moment where she's like, because they were going to get divorced, and she's like, you had to say that you would let me die to realize that you still love me, and then they hug, and I was like, is that sweet? Or because I feel like that's crazy.
That was weird. That was really weird.
It was weird.
That was pretty intense.
I guess they're made
and
for
he was
each
like,
other.
yeah, I did. I was like, what is happening with this couple?
Oh my God, I love you. I'm so glad you're not dead, even though I said they should kill you.
So weird. And meanwhile, John's in the bathtub, like worried that he can't feel his penis.
His penis is frozen. And the only thing that will save him is mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Yeah. Jane's like, what? But we also get this really sweet moment where she's like, I care about you. And he's like, I care about you too. And she's like, no, I really, really care about you.
Yeah.
And so I think, because remember for the last couple episodes, we were wondering, or maybe, especially the first episode, why she was so standoffish, or why she was like, no, I'm not here for romance. And it does seem like it's because she's one of these people that really just, when she falls hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she tries to protect herself from that, and now she's fallen.
She's in it deep.
Yep, she's in it real deep.
It was definitely really cute of like, that moment of somebody in the relationship being the first to say they love you and all that. Although I could be misremembering, but I feel like she said, I really, really like you. And John said, oh, okay, or something like that. Do you remember?
Maybe. I had written down, I really, really care about you.
I feel like he didn't say it back.
He didn't say it. He might not have said it back. He's been a little standoffish himself now. Because at the end of the episode, too, he says, like, so you think we should sleep in the same bed now when we get back or something? Like, he kind of slides that in there, and she's like, yeah, I would really like that. Would you?
He says, I'll do it if you want to.
Yeah. And then and she's like, well, I want you to. And he's like, well, I wouldn't have brought it up if I didn't. But he's like, come on, John. Like, come on.
John is like that guy in college that that's like always really emotionally distant and unavailable, and then gets broken up with, and he's like, I don't understand. And it's like, it's you. You're the problem. So it's starting to seem like Jane might care about John more than he cares about her. But
he's definitely trying to play it cool.
We'll see. Maybe he's just bad at communicating his feelings.
I don't know. It was pretty bad as soon as they were mad at each other in the middle of the episode, though.
Kimberly said no.
Like, okay, I'm going to play it cool. I'm going to play it cool too, then.
And throws
Turn off location services. Yeah. Okay, question for you, Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the episode, or maybe it was towards the beginning, when they're asleep,
mm-hmm.
and we hear that sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I first watched that, it was like a cord noise, like, oh shit, the camera like got pulled out, that they had stuck in the wall or something, or else like somebody else spying on them. Like, I fell for the like, oh my God, like, are they being spied on? Is the camera coming in on them, or did the people pull the camera out? What did you think? Did you immediately go to what we find out in the end?
Well, I have the subtitles on, and it revealed what it was. Yeah.
Okay, so it actually said it was a fart?
Yeah, it was like farts. Okay. But it didn't say who farted. It just says somebody farted.
Like, okay. Because then at the end of the episode, when they're sleeping in the train car, and she's like, I can't remember what excuse she makes, but she's trying to like
snacks.
Get up. Yeah, go get some snacks. And he's like, it's okay, you can just fart like you did last time. And that's when I was like, oh wait, was that what happened? And I went back and watched it, and then it was a lot clearer, because I was like, oh yeah, she's like, you got to check outside. So she makes him like leave the room, and then she like opens the window, like she's looking, but then like fans it so subtly, and then she gets back in bed and does the like shake out the the covers things kind of, but I didn't catch that the first time. But I'm like, yep, okay, it was clearly there, and that's all it was. It was a fart joke.
I mean, farting in front of your partner for the first time is a big step. So
It is. It is. It's a
they're
big step in the
definitely
relationship.
they're definitely getting closer.
Hmm.
Well, I do have one big question for you, Kimberly.
Yep.
Do you love it?
I love it. Do you love it, Carmen?
You know what? I love it like a vacation with your newly girlfriend wife. It's so good. I think the writing's really clever, and I love that there are subtle things that you can pick up on a rewatch or when talking about it with a friend. It's so good.
I love the aqua comedy. It's really, really good.
Well, friends, I think that's going to about do it for us this time around.
Can't wait to see what they get up to next time.
Yeah.
What mission they're going to go on. Is it another billionaire?
Are all these episodes about them chasing billionaires?
Getting the gossip, getting the dirty details. All right, so thank you all for watching. As usual, you can subscribe on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review. Tell us what you thought on social media. We're at Take This TV on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you for watching Hot Potatoes, and welcome to the club.
Now remember, it's dangerous to watch TV alone.